to who are arriving here in this matter have other chapters. Since the one chapter, you can see this in my playlists. In a playlist is in Portuguese and English. You must search your language you prefer. And it's about the life of druids in kingdom of uh, in the kingdom in England from kingdom of Galles, where in those times was so much fights to conquer earths, and no one territory was defined still. Then we can see the Druids, how people that were considered in not in same level of people, but in the same level of kingdoms, of kings, because they were capable to help as soldiers. And what type of technique used in war to dominate the enemies? What what type of resource used to gain battles? Because this, principally because this, and cause it ever save lives. They would capable to make birds, uh, save people with venenos of snakes and other animals, and help in those six that was from less less conditions to sanitization in those times. Proliferation from various six lethal six. Then chapter 15, the return of Marcaligus and the balance of his family. Let me put in those page. If I don't make, I think I don't make this translation, but I have certain that I made this. Why not? I made this. I didn't say I made the translation, but I think don't say. If I don't save it, I will wait. I will read about. Uh, don't have here, but I made this. I have absolute certain that I made this. Let me see again. Well, I don't got. I I saved this. I made this, but I think another thing happened here. Let's see. No. Okay. I will read then, not this chapter, because this chapter I don't save here. I will read about smoke by Hamatis, and after this, from Hamatis, I will make the translation of chapter 15 from Castle, and today, after this, I will read again the chapter from A Castle in the Past. Now I will read other matter that I would prepare today, the vice of smoking and its future consequences. Let me see where I stop it. Many smokers, contrary what you say, claim that cigarettes calm their nerves instead, they're nervous instead of exciting. Let me amplify this letters. Yes. Many smokers, contrary to what you say, claim that cigarettes calm their nerves instead of exciting them. How do you explain this? Is Ersinio Medium asking to Hamatis spirit, an Oriental spirit, not Oriental spirit, because the spirit can be Occidental and Oriental, but in this incarnation, this appear how Oriental person is maybe the last incarnation. This spirit like it. You, when you are spirit, you are free to appear the way you want. And this spirit shall appear this way. Sedatives, especially barbiturates, also calm the nerves. But over time, they end up causing nervous depression and later completely disrupt the entire nervous system of the human being. Since all action of the creature's astral body is fundamentally based on the great sympathetic nerve, which is responsible for all the emotional impacts and worries of the incarnate spirit. It's in the abdominal area that ulcers and stenosis, so common in our days, are most pronounced. It happens that the astral part of the smoke tends to condense in that same region since since its emanations are reflected in the nervous system of the being from spinal cord to the nerves distributed throughout the abdomen, that is in the region of the abdominal plexus. Progressive amnesia, chronic headaches, and neurasthenia then appear in the individual, radiating particularly from this region and seemingly alleviated by smoking. However, this is merely the so called astral anguish of addiction, a reflection of the region where the physical body connects to the astral body. The, the place of umbilical cord is here, is in this region that they are saying. Uh, a reflection of the region where the physical body connects to the astral body, an event that becomes unbearable after death and entry into the afterlife. The hypnotic effect that astral plane of smoking produces on the sympathetic nerve after nicotine enters the bloodstream is often mistaken for calming the nerves. Smoking permits all the interstices of the physical body and remains is in residual form until the kidneys, liver, skin, and intestines can eliminate it satisfactorily. However, this becomes difficult because the smoker continues to feed the addiction, saturating the body and profoundly weakening its natural defenses against microbial or other toxic aggressions, and increasingly needs antitoxins to combat the increase in tobacco poisons. This saturation is so severe that during any steam bath, the smoker's body strongly exudes the acrid odor of nicotine. While their organs function regularly, they may feel immune to the poison of smoke, but as soon as nature begins to give way in its defenses due to the excess toxic load, their physical decline intensifies and incubated illnesses then predominate. Because the toxic effects of tobacco strongly depress certain people and demand maximum defense from them to overcome its poisonous aggression. They lose weight and then attribute their physical slenderness to the fact that they smoke. However, when they quiet the habit, their bodies abandon their defenses and use all available energy to repair weakened areas and reduce the antitoxins that disrupt glandular function. This satisfactory utilization, along with greater organic dynamism, results in increased fat. However, over time and with the depletion of excess circulating antitoxins, the body returns to normal. And the excess fat disappears, returning the physical form to its normal biological type before smoking. Is cancer a question? Is cancer a consequence of smoking addiction? And answer shown spirit. Smoking is not the sole cause of cancer, but it can produce it if among inveterate smokers there is someone who is susceptible to lung cancer, since the tar containing substances in tobacco primarily attack the lungs. Some doctors say that cancer is more common among men than among women, perhaps among women, perhaps because the male species is precisely the one that is smoked the most. One cannot attribute the exclusive blame from the production of cancer to smoking, since even animals which don't smoke have shown cancerous manifestations. But it's worth remembering that early scientists have verified that cancer attacks particularly in the mouth, among Hindu, in the mouth among Hindus who chew areca nuts and I don't know if the translation is right. Hindus who chew and that lip cancer almost always occurs exactly at the point on the lip where the cigarette or pipe is most used. Many gastric ulcers wrongly attributed to the stressful life of the 20th century citizen and have their main origin in the corrosive effects of toxic and terror substance that smokers' excessive salivation carries to the delicate stomach lining, altering the gastric and enteric juices and damaging the harmonious metabolism of digestion. Other question. Although partly contradicting your statements, we must say that we have already proven in ourselves that our overly excited nerves calm down with the use of the usual cigarette smoked calmly. Sometimes we achieve the achieve sometimes we achieve the satisfactory psychic solution that we so desire after the reflection that comes after using the cigarette. Sometimes we achieve the satisfactory psychic solution that we so desired after the reflection that comes after using the cigarette. How do you explain this fact? Hamatis answer. Commonly, man excites his nerves as much as his interest is in greater contact with the whirlwind, whirlwind of life, whirlwind of life, whirlwind of life, and mainly due to the cold, covetousness for the things of the material world. Those who desire a tranquil existence and wish to free themselves from the afflictive cycles of physical life need to heed the wise warning of Jesus when he says, seek the treasures that moth and rust don't destroy. Otherwise, no one should expect to possess calm nerves, even by resorting to tobacco or any other deceptive method. When a person starts smoking heavily to calm their nerves, they are unaware that they are merely reducing normal psychophysical contact with the environment, confusing this reduction with a desirable state of calm in the nervous system. Under the somewhat hypnotic effect of smoke, the action of the nervous system is partially uninhibited, thus reducing its normal relationship with external activities and leaving the psyche freer from worries, just as occurs among those who drink alcohol and cloud their understanding. Worry, fright, or sudden emotion provoke the immediate production of certain hormones in people which should balance the dangerous excesses of disorder movements or vigorous impacts on the vagus sympathetic nervous system. Since blood vessels tend to constrict more strong under the influence of nicotine, the smoker believes they are in a state of calm or psychic relief, when this is nothing more than a reduction in blood circulation. And that tobacco not only reduces circulatory metabolism due to the contraction of blood vessels, but also depressed and slowed psychological activity. Well, people start to anesthesize your nervous system. Is this? We don't believe that the pernicious absorption of tobacco gas can bring inspiration of any kind of, or even normalize the nervous system, because the nerves are the living extension of the perispirit itself acting in the physical world. And the serenity of the perispirit doesn't depend on toxic and hypnotic restraint, but fundamentally on the health and psychic control of the soul. And why, as humanity becomes more aware of the harm resulting from the use of tobacco, does the number of smokers increase? Warnings about the dangers of smoking are growing, and yet statistics show the men are smoking more and more. The answer. All this stems from man's negligence towards himself, because as he becomes more scientific and erudite, he seems to become increasingly disinterested in his own spiritual well being. The 20th century man, despite being excessively intellectualized, lives more according to the reasons or suggestions of the outside world instead of listening to his own needs, preferring to follow the obsession of the majority, even if it's harmful to him. Even regarding the most common needs, he submits to the suggestive force, be it that of women's fashion innovations of no fundamental importance, or the nonsense and the trivialities that radio, magazines, and advertisements instill in the brains of earthlings every day, making them exchange, buy, or prefer products and things they don't need. Modern advertising is done by skillful and cunning psychologists, quite experienced in human reactions. They use hypnotic and persistent resources, presenting or advertising their products in a fascinating and pleasant way. I remember the advertisements from Marlboro and West Side. You immediately associate the name of a product that clever advertising has highlighted at the right time. And so, to the most harmless headache or nervous impatience, you immediately associate the name of a product that clever advertising has highlighted at the right time. Radio, newspapers, magazines, and cinema act upon you in such a way that you live according to this fascination imposed by the world of commerce and industry to push its products acting in a cunning manner. Then you no longer choose things. They hypnotize you and impose themselves on you as indispensable. The same occurs through the suggestive effects of the skillful cigarette advertising carried out by the large tobacco industries. Carried or carried? Carried carried out by the large tobacco industries. They tease opinion from scientists, celebrities, or famous film stars, displaying their portraits in luxurious images. Bright and colorful posters where the most poetic slogans and suggestive phrases highlight the delight and nobility of smoking. Even men who don't smoke are drawn to such skillful advertising, often becoming fascinated by phrases that elevate cigarettes to the status of an indispensable distinction in society. Later, when an individual becomes an inveterate smoker, he no longer needs suggestive advertising to smoke and is extremely addicted, ends up losing all sense of human civility almost everywhere. He forgets that in vehicles and entertainment venues, smoking can intoxicate, disgust, or irritate many. He forgets that even in other catering places, the smell of hand-rolled cigarettes, the strong smell of cigars, or the tar from pipes can be detestable to others. Some individuals even smoke in restaurant dining rooms during mealtimes. Others blow smoke in the faces or of their companions in public transport queues, paying little attention to the silent protests of their unfortunate victims. Al- Although, although the noble spirit of smoking is often emphasized, it's not uncommon for a smoker to burn the clothes of their traveling companion, sometimes causing them enormous damage. Then we we must see it's an addiction, it's an anesthesia, how alcohol, but to let people without dignity, alcohol is so more fast than cigarettes, of course. And it is possible in all time you are in addiction, you retire this addiction, asking a doctor that don't smoke, obviously, asking a psychological therapist, asking the those treatments that put in the skin, but principally had having condition to understand what is back on an addiction. Have other addictors in the spiritual plane sucking you. Why, what advantage you will have making this retiring you're capable to see clearly things. For me was this. I start to see all things so clear and really reliable for me and for others. More hope when we stop an addiction. We will have, not have importance how much time you are in this addiction. You're not birds this way, then this can come out of this body. And is this the last chapter of spoken in English? I will read this in Portuguese now. And after this, I will make the translation from the last chapter, the 15th chapter from A Castle in the Past. After 15th chapter, will last only 2 chapters to finish this book, this history. Marvelous and magical history about druids. Then I hope you there in the next live. Today I only will finish the lives in the last week that I don't got to, okay? And after I read in English, in Portuguese, the chapter from Cigarette, and in English, the last chapter of Castle in the Past, only in Thursday I will return to make Casle, the chapter from Casle. I hope you have a great final start to the week, a great start to the week with peace, hope, happiness, evolution, elegance, and peace. With today, I was talking with a person. The conquer to dominate this addiction, all addictions. The pleasure is so much great than the pleasure to make something that are destroying this body out of time. Because this body will be destroyed a day, of course. Is from nature this. But the spirit, no, the desire don't will be destructed. Is this that all addiction must have in mind. I will continue feeling the necessity of this addiction. Then I must control this addiction. Make this, you will have so much pleasure to conquer this domination inside than outside, and so much pleasure to have an addiction. Okay, try this. And if you don't get it, cause have a time of addiction is difficult. In first, ask to God. In second, ask material helping with medicine, with doctors, and if necessary, be in a place that will repose in you all vitamins. Don't stop to make this. If you have addiction, turn your body strong with vitamins, proteins, minerals, and so much water. This is the start. If you don't make this still, this will start to turn better your body with more disposition that the addiction is tired of us. Addiction is how a vampire, and have spirits that are vampires too. Then be good. Don't stop. Don't give up to be free from this. The freedom is the most good pleasure when we go back on this freedom. And our self-domination, 2 points that give enormous pleasure to who try to conquer this. Until the next, I hope you